Hi guys, it's me Lunar, welcome back to another Playerunknown's Battleground video. No real new info for today, so instead I have a top 5 for you guys, one I've been working on the past few days. First, if you like the video, leave a like, it is very helpful, and let's get straight into it. In today's top 5, we're compiling a list of the top 5 high loot but very high risk areas, which are big towns and city style locations, as in they actually have houses. I'm making a separate video for smaller high risk areas which are very high loot, but on a single building or a single complex, like the school and the military base for example. That will be the next video I do. In today's top 5, these areas are some of the game's best locations for gathering loot. However, they are extremely dangerous as they are a hotbed for other players. So you must be on your A game to come out alive. If you do, you're going to have some of the best loot you can have, all from one location. If you don't, you're going to die early in the game. Starting at number 5, one thing to remember is smaller areas, there are more risk as you have less places to hide and less resources to fight over. Bigger areas have more resources, but potentially more players, making it difficult to get to the next safe zone without conflict. So number 5 is Primorsky. It's the smallest of the towns and cities in the list, but it's good for loot and is strategically located. With around 75 different buildings and a mixture of 1 and 2 story houses, this town is a great place to find loot. You're not going to get everything you need from one building, you're going to have to cover several, but you should in the end get everything you need to be fully geared up once you've covered 4 or 5 of them. The town will of course attract other players, all high loot areas will, but it shouldn't be too overpopulated. In fact, in this game I was playing here, you can see in the video, my plane flew practically over the top of it, but only one other player landed here on this occasion. Now the thing I found most interesting about this city is the amount of guns there are. I looted about 10 buildings and found at least 30 guns, half of which were high powered rifles. So if you land here, expect to find pretty much any weapon you need. Didn't really come across any useful weapon mods, and the armor was okay, at least I got armor and a backpack here. But for getting an awesome weapon and ammo, this is a great high loot, high risk area. It's also greatly strategically located, it's close to the center of the map, it's close enough to the military island, especially with several boat spawns, and I had no problem looting until the last second as I spotted an escape vehicle as soon as I got here. So I really think this is a great place for you to consider trying out when you play to find high loot. Number 4 is Pachinki. This is the most centrally located town or city with easy access to any safe zone location, but it of course attracts a lot of other players. It's also quite compact, so you can easily come across another player and you must fight it out, survival of the fittest and all, and I decided to wait and let the place be looted a bit before entering the town, as I wanted to loot freely for the video. But even then, after the place had been scavenged for over 10 minutes by the time I got here, I still managed to pick up an assault rifle with several mods for it, a level 2 helmet, a level 3 backpack which I found in the church, body armor, all from just 4 buildings. I could easily have stocked up had I gone into more buildings, so more than enough loot to gear up loads of players. There is a large amount of players drop here though, so it's very risky, but if you want to play it more safe, there is more than enough loot here and plenty of stuff lying around if you want to come here after some of the other players have come and gone. Number 3 is Retinoid. This small town slash shipyard is a death zone. It does offer some pretty awesome loot and has a very good chance, especially to spawn vehicles. But out of the 5 locations in the video, this small eastern town was the most dangerous. What are the pros of this location? It's got plenty of weapons, including a good chance of finding the game's best weapon. The shipyards have loads of containers with stuff in them that you can go from container to search. It's relatively safe, but not as good as loot as say the warehouses in the area, but those warehouses have constant gunfights going on in them. The area has got good access to boats, as this town is located on an island, so you can get to the mainland easy if you are here. It's also got the best chance in the game for getting a car with several guaranteed car spawns in the area, but it's going to be tough to get one. However, with the chance of getting high gear, high powered weapons, and a guaranteed car for several players, it does attract some of the game's best players, so be cautious. Getting out with good loot often requires at least 1 or more kills, so be prepared to fight here more than any other town for resources. However, it can pay off. Number 2 is Vasna, and this place is pretty massive. One of the biggest locations on the map and has tons and tons of loot. The town is a mixture of 1, 2 and 3 story buildings, including shops and apartments. On the outskirts of the eastern edge of town are several large buildings, including what I think is some kind of hotel. There's a police station here, and I started to loot here when I first got here during the video. After a quick sweep of those 2 buildings, which took only a few minutes, I had already acquired 2 fully loaded rifles with plenty of mods to go with them, a level 3 backpack and helmet, level 2 armor, grenades, melee weapons, and more health than I could count. As a large town, it's going to have its fair share of players coming here, so you will have to be careful when moving around. Fortunately, unlike the 3 previous towns, this place is fairly big, so it won't be too difficult to move around undetected if you're careful. There's loads of alleys and loads of places to hide, unless you happen to go into the same building as someone else, which is always possible. Now, the most danger you will find here will probably be the point when everyone has finished looting, and the fight for vehicles and the journey to the safe zone from here. That's most likely to get you into a spot of trouble, and that's because there doesn't seem to be very many vehicles that spawn here, and also there's no water close by for any boats either. So many people will be leaving here on foot, and you'll all be going in the same direction, and so it can be very dangerous. Now, to prove just how many resources there were in this town, after looting for a while, I decided to try and survive here as long as possible, using simply the health kits I could scavenge from the vast amount of buildings. And I actually got to a respectable 13th place by wandering around the town, healing myself, as obviously once you go inside the blue wall, your health will go down constantly. So it does go to show you can get to the top 10 here by simply surviving on health packs found in the buildings, as there is just so much loot. A great place to find weapons, armor, healing, grenades, and pretty much everything, but is very open and risky, and there is not a lot of options to escape here, no water close by, and not many vehicles either. Number 1 is Georgopol. It's the biggest city in Erangel, and you could spend ages looting here. Fortunately, you won't have to, as even going into just one apartment building on the city's south side is more than enough to kit you fully up. Most times I drop here, I'm fully decked out in the best gear, high tier armor, backpack, fully modded assault rifles after just the first apartment. If not, then 2 apartments will give you more than you can carry. But you must manage your time carefully here. If you're lucky, the safe zone will be nearby and you will have loads of time to max your character. But even if you have time for one quick sweep of buildings, you should still be able to pick up some pretty awesome stuff. But keep in mind, this is a high loot area, and with it comes other players looking for high rewards, which is very dangerous. To face up so many players early on, if you're confident in your skills, it's a great place to get kills. If you're not and just want to gear for later in the game to survive the top 10, then be careful, learn the positions of some vehicle spawns in the area, and try to get out undetected. It's worth the risk though, and it's my favourite high risk city or town as it's got many buildings, and there's more than enough for everyone. So that is my top 5 high risk but very high reward areas you can drop to at the beginning of the game to get all the best gear you can in one convenient location. But they do come with the risk of clashing against some of the other 99 players fighting for survival. Look out for more top 5s and news update videos for the game. I have tons of top 5s I'm working on, I think around 10 currently, and updates if and when I get the info. I don't think it should be too long until we see our first weekly update for the game either. Anyway, as always, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Be sure to leave a like below, guys. The support is greatly appreciated on the channel, so that would be really awesome. Subscribe if you're new around for similar videos to this one, and I will catch you guys next time with a brand new video. Peace out.